So this is the solution to last lesson's problem for the bridge lights. Now Mrs. Booth has very kindly set these out, but when she got to the bottom of the screen she didn't continue down, which you could do, but it goes off screen. She's actually brought the next column back to the top, and we can see that the flow line follows round like this, and the final loop back goes over the top here. So we start, we have green, delay, amber, red, and we have our flowchart correctly sequenced with delays with 3, 1, 3, 1, and then back to the start. And then Mr. Booth will just kindly run that through. We see red light, red and amber, green, amber, and red again. Perfectly working. Thank you.
Now at this point what you could do is you could photograph that screen on your laptop and upload that to Show My Homework to let us know that you've managed to create the bridge lights.
An extension activity is the second set of lights, but we're not going to try and get you to do that because it is really quite advanced stuff that. To get them to work in sequence so that one set comes on as the other set's sat waiting. We'll leave that for when we actually get you in school to continue with that one. Just get one set ready. Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Pelican Crossing. Now, when you've got a screen like this, you can either start again with a new file, and if you haven't saved your changes, it's a good time to save them. Use Mimic, and we're going to go for Pelican Crossing. Now, this is a much more complex system, except it uses the traffic lights. Now, if you've followed last lesson, you will already know the sequence, and you can use that sequence quite easily. It has introduced something else though, and if you're observant, you'll notice that there is a new symbol on the left-hand toolbar. The diamond symbol is for an input. Now, an input is a button, a switch, or a sensor, and in this case, it's the box that controls the Pelican Crossing. Now, if we hover the cursor right over the little yellow button, we can actually click on that, and we can see up here that the push switch illuminates. So the push switch is the input. We can see green, amber and red refers to the outputs of the traffic light, but we have these additional illuminated signs for the wait sign, which is on above the button, the green man and the red man on the pedestrian crossing section. So we've got additional illumination signs to program and a lot more timing to think about. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is consider what state it would be in for most of its time. Now remember, this is a set of lights that is to enable the pedestrian to stop traffic. For most of its time, what colour light do you think traffic lights should be showing here?
Green.
So that traffic can flow unless a pedestrian needs to stop it. So it would make sense to me to begin with the start and to immediately set up the traffic light sequence that you would expect it to go back to at the start. So that would be green on, red light off, amber light off. Now what about the other illuminated signs? When the green light is on, would you see red man or green man up here?
So the red man would be on and the green man would be off.
Correct. Is the wait sign illuminated before you press the switch?
No.
So it would be
off.
Good. Now with that state, we could perhaps test it by very briefly doing a line back to the start. And we need to put start in there as well.
Spot my mistake there.
Yeah, brilliant. So you can double click on there, can you? So we need to use the white arrow to select it. There we go.
And then we can put the start in.
Okay, now that allows us to test something. And we see that the conditions that we wanted, the red man, the green traffic signal, And this is the state that most pedestrian crossings should be in for most of the time. Now I'm going to delete that sign. Can you talk through how we do that? Just show that deletion again, Mrs. Booth. So
if I redo the lines from there to there, so I've used the white arrow, clicked on the line and used the cross to delete.
excellent. Okay, so we're going to introduce how you use an input next, and it uses the diamond symbol, and drag and place it underneath, and we get this helpful pop-up, and it begins with a sentence for you, is, and we only have one option, push switch, and then you complete the sentence with, is push switch on or off? And it would make sense to ask the question, is the push switch on? And it puts the question mark there for us. So this question is being asked, is the push switch on? Now, how many answers to that question are there, Mrs. Booth?
There are 2.
The answers are?
Yes or no.
Correct. And if the answer is no, we want the flow chart to go back to the start, so it remains in that initial state until somebody presses the switch. Now, it's better, we might need to go back and do that step. We'll do the yes first. So if the switch is pressed, we want quite a sequence of events to take place. So we're going to put an output below it, and we're going to make the traffic light sequence kick in. Now remember, we're starting from a different point. We began with red before, we're now beginning with green. So you remember what the sequence should be after a green light.
So amber on, red off. This time they have pressed the button, so we're going to put the weight on.
Brilliant, yeah.
The green man is still off and the red man is still on. So it's not safe to cross yet.
Excellent. So if we make the connections, the first one as a yes will go straight down to there, because that's what happens when you press the switch, and we want to make a no back to the start. So that's perfect. Those 4 symbols are the perfect beginning to this flowchart, and it's at this point that we'll probably stop and allow you to have a go. And this is this week's task. Can you complete the pedestrian crossing with safe timings from this starting point?
Remember, you can move the picture out of the way to the right hand side, which will allow you to carry your flow chart on in a second and maybe third column.
Brilliant.